All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is the furthest we've made it since we've taken over this team, and I'm determined to see it all the way through. I think we'll be okay. Really quickly, though, let's look at the playoff stats. Not the season stats, the playoff stats. Okay, we know it's Buffalo and Tampa in the Eastern Conference Finals. So we got to check. We got to check how things are looking for the boys here. Sidney Crosby leading the way in terms of points. Who's the best player I've ever seen play? Are we talking in person or in general? In general? In general. We're talking like not a moment in time. Are we talking like in their career in general? Like, am I going to be like, well, it's Sidney Crosby? Or can I be like, well, Tim Thomas in the 2011 playoffs? You know. Henrik Sedin has no points in 11 games. How is that possible when Daniel has 9 points and Taylor Hall also has 9? What the hell is Henrik Sedin doing? He and Vlasic are the only minus forwards on the team right now. Defensively, Harris, 8 points for Tyler Harris. I mean, the correct answer is Connor McDavid. 9-17 for Jonathan Bernier. Damn. I don't think we're going to take any precautions or anything like that. We're just going to kind of leave the lines as they are. I'm not going to break the Sedins up either. This is the Kings lineup. Alex Frolov, Anze Kopitar, and Dustin Brown. Buddy Holloway, Oscar Mahler, and Wayne Simmons. Jeff Skinner, Andre Loktionov, and Trevor Lewis. I imagine that's Wasey Rabbit, Justin Azevedo, and it's like Florian or Fabian Schutz, something like that. Defensively, Cody shouts out Felix. There you go. Jack Johnson, Drew Doughty, Thomas Hickey, Matt Green, Colton Tubert, and a real scumbag in Slava Voinov. The goaltender is Jonathan Quick. Again, we traded Owsley and Skinner for Jonathan Bernier, and now we meet them in the playoffs. In terms of the ratings, by the way, we haven't beaten offense. We have an 84 defense and 95 goaltending. So it really is a battle of offense versus defense then. Fair enough. Game number 1. Western Conference Final. Hickey and Mahler score. And we fall just short. 5-4, the final score. The Kings take game 1. Toffoli scored, but it was too little too late. With 2:52 to go in the game. We had 8 shots in the final 5 minutes, and it didn't matter. Damn. Damn. We'll go to game 2. Not going to make any changes yet, but if we lose this game, we might have to think about it. 1-0 Evgeny Dadonov. 2-1. We hold on to win. Jordan Eberle seals the deal. We split the first 2 games of the conference finals. Technically a win for Los Angeles, kind of neutralizing our home ice advantage. Game number 3. No lineup changes needed. 1-1, 2-1 Oilers, 3-1 Oilers. Back-to-back wins after a disappointing loss in Game 1. Henrik Sedin scored a goal, no less. Crosby with the other 2. And we are up 2-1 in the conference final. And a big injury there for them with Trevor Lewis being out for the rest of the series. I'll have to set up that scouting assignment here if there's an easy one to do. We're trying to get our GM reputation up there. GM tasks. Do we have anything else in regards to scouting? Not at the moment. Really nothing we can do now at this point. So, game number 4. We're up 2-1. 2-0 LA. Holloway and Kopitar. 2-1. Still 2-1. And this series is tied again. 2-2 after 4 games. For a 3-1 victory for the Kings in game number 4. It's a best of 3. I'm still tempted to change up the lines, but I'll leave it. At least for game 5. 2-2. 3-2. Still 3-2. Yes. The Edmonton Oilers 1 win away from the Stanley Cup final. Looks like Tampa and Buffalo hasn't been decided yet. The Tampa Bay Lightning will await the winner, having eliminated the Sabres. Will it be Oilers and Lightning in the Cup final? 1-0. 3-0. The Edmonton Oilers are going to the Stanley Cup final in 2016 after a dominant victory in Game 6 to close out the Kings. We will play the Lightning for the Stanley Cup. Hey, we got a third phone for the very first time. We finally got that elusive third phone. Oh, man. We had to go through Columbus, San Jose, and LA. They went through Boston, Florida, and Buffalo. It's the 2 number 1 seeds, Oilers and Lightning, in the Stanley Cup final. So we'll take a look at the stats for the boys through 3 rounds. IRL, the Canucks are kicking the hell out of the Oilers. Go figure. Who else would it be leading the way? Sidney Crosby. But we have had some good scoring across the board, especially from rookie Will Harrington and Evgeny Dadonov, or as he was affectionately known at the time, Dadonov. Our lowest scoring player is still Henrik Sedin, but he had 4 points in 6 games, which is nuts. Players are doing well. Defensively, not a single minus defenseman anymore. Gormley and Harris with 10 points each. Shea Weber with 9. Hedlund's our lowest scoring defender with 4 points. And in goal, a .246 with a .923 save percentage for Jonathan Bernier. He's been great so far, but will he be enough? I think I once had like 5 phones. It's 4 or 5. I think it's 5 from my recollection. Let's look at the Lightning. Our opposition in the Cup final. Ryan Malone, Steven Stamkos, and Corey Perry. Simone Gagne, Vinny Lecavalier, and Peter Pruka. Some dude named Trigg, Dana Terrell, and Marek Svatos. I think it's Peter or Philip Gogola. Olli Jokinen, and Teddy Purcell. The defense. Some dude named Jackson, who I think is computer generated, and Paul Ranger, another generated dude, Gronwald, next to Ty Wishart, and Nicholas Kronwall with I think it's Vaclav Mahalik. It might be Vladimir, or he's a generated dude. Their goalie, Mike Smith. Mike Smithereens. Oh, Mike Smith. Not easy. Not an easy matchup. They had 58 wins. 58 in the regular season. We have the better offense. They have the better defense, but we apparently have the better goaltending. Game 1. Stanley Cup final. 2-2. Still 2-2. 4-3 Lightning. And Tampa takes game 1. Marek Svatos, the hero, with their second goal of the third period. And Tampa's up 1-0 in the series.
I'm just trying to walk through this fucking grass.
Scary. Shout out to Elliot for the follow, by the way. Welcome in. We're going to go to game 2. We're going to go to game 2. 1-1. Ooh, drops a strong ooh woo. You love to see it. 2-2. I want to jump in and watch, but it could last a while. It's going to be elimination game only. The Tampa Bay Lightning take a 2-0 series lead. Corey Perry wins it in overtime. 2 losses, each by a goal, and we are in a good amount of trouble. I'm going to put Hall with Crosby and Eberle. We'll drop Harrington down. I'll put Webb on that second line, or that third line, excuse me. There's not too much else to change, though. But we need a spark for Game 3. It's not looking too good. Scoreless first. Up 3-1 after 2. 4-2. 6-2, the final score. They say you're not in trouble until you lose on home ice, and we haven't lost on home ice. A dominant victory in game number 3, and we are right back in it. Good stuff. Good stuff. They had an injury there, too, to Christian Trigg. The Hartford Wolfpack have won the Calder Cup, so we'll go to game 4. We need another win. 1-0 Tampa, Ole Jokinen. 2-2. Still 2-2. Spiderweb ties the series at 2 apiece. The Stanley Cup final comes down to a best of 3. The home team has yet to lose. It's a best of 3 for the Stanley Cup. Game number 5. 2-0 Oilers. 3-1 Oilers. Still 3-1. The Edmonton Oilers have won 3 in a row and are 1 win away from perhaps winning the Stanley Cup. Can they do it on home ice, no less? 2 opportunities to get it done. Can they do it? First period, 2-0 Oilers, 3-3, 5-3, and the Tampa Bay Lightning spoil the party and force Game 7. An Albertan team playing Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final in Tampa. What's the worst that could happen? We go to Game 7. We knew we had 2 opportunities, but we really didn't want it to go 7. Toffoli's been all right in the playoffs. How's Bob Phillips looking? He's still okay. We have to run the strongest lineup we can. Or do we run with the players who have been performing the best? I want to take a look at the numbers. I want to see who the best have been. We're going to put the best players in the, the best possible spots to carry us. It comes down to the final game. One more game to try and win the Stanley Cup. So, I mean, obviously, Sidney Crosby will be on the top line. He has been phenomenal. Taylor Hall, the 22 points. He's a plus 12. He has been pretty good as well. Williams, what's going on, man? Thank you very much for the raid. I appreciate it. How did the stream go? You're just in time to watch the Edmonton Oilers perhaps choke away a Stanley Cup. So, that's always fun, isn't it? Drop that old shout out as well. Good man of his word. Good man of his word. Evgeny Dadonov. 15 points and a plus 9. That's not bad at all. He's still the worst player we've seen so far, but that's not to say he's bad. Henry Webb has also been good. I don't know if he's been second line good, but he's been good. We got Vlasic betting this game goes to overtime. I mean, you better hope not, for my sake. Harrington has been outplayed by Webb, though. Let's see, you got Phillips, who's also been okay. DSP, it's been the weakest forward we've seen so far. Tyler Toffoli has actually been pretty good. And then Henrik Sedin. You could argue Henrik Sedin has been our worst forward in the playoffs. Not bad enough that we're going to scratch him, but he has been our worst forward in the playoffs, which is kind of crazy. Put him at 4C. I probably will end up demoting him. Let's see. We got Harris, who has been okay. Gormley, obviously, has been pretty good. It's time to give up on 24 and toss it in the trash. Maybe, to be honest. Maybe. Let's see. Prout's been pretty solid. Headland. Okay, we know what we're going to do. And Bernier is going to be our goalie no matter what. No matter what. He's the big reason we're here. So in terms of lines, if we look at the defense, first and foremost, we're going to go best lines in case there have been changes to like special teams and what the best fit happens to be. It's going to be Weber, Gormley, Enstrom, and Prout, Harris, and Headland. So in terms of the forwards as well, we go with our best three. It is Crosby, Hall, and Daniel Sedin. Those have been the best three. Eberle, Dodonoff, and Spiderweb. We'll put Eberle at center because I'm pretty sure he has better faceoffs than Webb. Yeah, Webb's at a 65. Eberle, who is listed as a center in the game, has an 86. Third line, Harrington, Toffoli, and then either Vlasic or Phillips. Foley's got a 67 for faceoffs. Harrington's got a 79. We're going to go for Vlasic. So the fourth line is going to be Devontae Smith-Pelly, Henrik Sedin, and Bob Phillips. One Sedin on the top line, the other on the fourth. But that is the best way we can set up our lines right now if we go off of how players have performed. It is Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Goalless first. 3-1 Oilers. 5-1 Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup in 2016. It was scary. It was concerning. But the Edmonton Oilers are going to survive in Game 7 and eliminate the President's Trophy winning Lightning and secure the Stanley Cup. 5 minutes away with a 5-1 lead. I unfortunately can't bring the timer any further down than that. That's just how this game worked. Corey Perry is stopped. We've made quite a few changes over the last calendar year. Some big trades. Going with some of the rookies in the lineup. The big deadline moves. I mean, Jesus, we brought in the Sedins. I mean, think about that. We traded Cody Franzen and Danny Heatley for both Sedins. And then the big pickup of Jonathan Bernier. We might have to continue a little bit because I feel like these frickin' players have done pretty damn well. They're an interesting team. Shout out to Gutbuster for the follow, by the way. And a shot off the post. It's good to see the boys deliver. We've gotten the NHL 11 experience. Means we will be moving on to another older game sooner rather than later. It might not be tonight, but tomorrow night's stream might indeed be starting off with some NHL 12. I do like the idea of just going chronologically. You could argue, skip to NHL 17, but I feel like chronological makes sense. And again, we started off on this game We were going to start off on 10, but we started off on this game because 11 was the first year of the CHL, so we got more real-life prospects in the game. And it allows us to kind of see what certain players were ranked. And obviously, you know, we looked at this, and it's like we brought in the Mark Stones and the Jeff Skinners, and some people developed, some people didn't. Nobody became what they actually are in real life. We are 3 minutes away from winning the Stanley Cup.
Nice pass, not all the way.
See the eventual, yeah, the mode, at a certain point, the mode will just keep getting worse and worse. It's NHL 15, by the way. Which once we get to NHL 15, I have to make a decision between next gen or or the 360 era. Or both. I probably won't play Legacy. I'd rather play NHL 16 than Legacy. That's the big question.
Bernier's coverage will freeze the puck and
so, we'll see. But I mean, the rosters are the same for both Legacy and 16 and then both versions of 15, so we'll make that decision. I do know the franchise mode will be a hell of a lot more enjoyable on 15, but who gives a shit about enjoyable? We're in this for the memes.
Good work. He got that stick on the puck.
We are in it for the memes. Less than 2 minutes away from seeing Sidney Crosby raise the cup as the captain of the Oilers. The year we acquired him from Pittsburgh, the Penguins went on to win the Stanley Cup. But Crosby will finally get his after that split. Obviously had one previously in Pittsburgh before the trade even happened. Playing an EA game he gave up on enjoyable years ago. That's very true. I mean, shit, I'm probably going to be switching to ESHL with friends again very, very shortly here. So, talk about giving up on enjoyable. Who gets the Conn Smythe? Probably Bernier. Let's be honest, like, this game loves giving the Conn Smythe to goalies. Daniel Sedin, good save. Mike Smith, so close yet so far. The final minute. The Edmonton Oilers. The problem is, the graphics are the same as 24. I'm very smart. Hello, sir. It's funny, though, because obviously like, the graphics aren't that bad, but yeah. We would have cleared the back. Dude, yeah, there wouldn't be a backlog if I didn't play sports games. But I'd also have 12 people watching me on a nightly basis. Maybe not that bad, but people love the misery that EA Sports games provide me. What can I say? Good save by Bernier. Plays it out. It's October. You got to play the puck out. It's funny, though, like, I'm going to have to sim some subsequent seasons just to see, like, what happens, because our rookies are fucking sweet. Like, think about how many rookies we have in the lineup here as we're winning this cup. So, we are looking pretty damn good. Jonathan Bernier. What a performance. Game 7 on the road in the final. The Edmonton Oilers have won the Stanley Cup in 2016.
And this series is over, and there they are. Those are the
fucking go. It only took us, what, 5 years? 6 years. 5 years.
That's one thing nobody can ever take away from you. Congratulations, these guys earned it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I was going to say, how much of this looks familiar? Sidney Crosby leads the way.
Hockey is really representative of that.
Smith and Bernier face to face. And indeed, your Conn Smythe winner, Jonathan Bernier. Sidney Crosby, come on up and get the cup. The Edmonton Oilers, champions again. And that's it. I literally didn't even hit a button. That is how short the cup celebration is. Just, yeah. Okay, we'll see you next year. You can't say that the celebration hasn't gotten better. It has. The Edmonton Oilers, not even a team picture. In fairness, it might have been because I was in between. It might have been because I was in between and didn't outright pick the Oilers. That could have been the reason it cut it off. But regardless, hilarious nonetheless. The Edmonton Oilers, Stanley Cup champions in 2016. You love to see it. You love to see it. It must have been because I was in between. I should have switched and controlled the team. We missed out on the team photo and everything. Worth it. Worth it, worth it, worth it. 49-win regular season. The boys go all the way. Still not as good as the 2K10 celebration with Davos skipping it by accident. Goodness. Goodness. We were down 2-0 in the series, then up 3-2. The Stanley Cup comes home. Up my GM rep, damn it. I want a Stanley Cup. I can ride off of this for the next 10 years. I am Peter Chiarelli. My legacy is intact, no matter how incompetent I am at my job for the modern times. I'm good to go. Oh, goodness. Goodness, goodness, goodness. Very camera shaky. Shake that camera, baby. Shake it. How's that for very camera shaky? Art Ross Trophy went to Marion Gaborik. The Hart went to Cam Ward. The Norris went to Steven Silas, who I tried to acquire numerous times. Drog, what's going on, man? Calder to Calvin Pickard. Loves giving the Calder to goalies and the Conn Smythe. Again, Jonathan Bernier. The Vezina to Cam Ward. Selke went to Derek Roy after Sean Avery won it the year before. Ted Lindsay to Marion Gaborik. Rocket Richard to Alexander Ovechkin. As another season comes to a close for us here. Avery for the Bing. All right, I picked the wrong time to try to look at the progress reports, but I do want to check a couple of things here before we say, all right, cool. Gotta up that pro scout. That helps a lot. I do want to at least kind of get to the draft so I can see trade values, see if potentials have gone up for our players. And again, we have that max value amateur scout right now, which helps a lot for the sake of drafting. That is true. We could go try to see the cup raising. Thomas Caberlet retired. Not too worried about the retirements. Prospects game. Keep an eye on those dudes. Good to know. Trade block's fine. Don't worry about it, Chief. We go to the 2016 draft. Obviously, IRL, the Matthews draft. We have the 8th overall pick and the 30th pick, thanks to being Cup champions. Sword pick from Michael Frolik. Oh, look at these beautiful phones with no trade offers. The 8th overall pick. Tony Jokinen. We got a Finn. Is there anybody else that looks better than Tony Jokinen? He does look to be the best so far. I'm not really digging the grades on these guys. Josh Rogers would be a reach. So would Matthias Gunderson. It looks like there are some reaches to go for towards the second round. Because I got to be honest, Tony Jokinen, he's a little bit scary. He's a little bit scary. Doesn't look like he's going to be insane, but you know what? We don't have to worry about it as much. Let's take the Finn. Can't go wrong with a Finn. And then there is Josh Rogers, who, yeah, I mean, it's him or Gunderson. Looking at these grades, that would be worth the risk heading into the second round. I do like this style for the draft of just educated guessing. You gotta remember too, though, our scout, we weren't letting him do his thing as much. Let's go for Josh Rogers. I know he's already 20, but it's fine. Again, it works a little bit different this year than it does modern years. It's not as big of a deal to take a 20-year-old. We're not. I get 3 phones and no one's sending me a trade offer. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So nobody with an 8. Nobody with an 8. Is there anybody with a green 7.5? No. And athleticism. You got a couple of guys that are green 7.5s. Honestly, Stan Tanabe. That's the guy, even if it's a little bit early. Even if it's a little bit early. What else do we got? Jose Shrimp. Screw it. Looks like the best of the bunch. We don't have to take this draft too seriously. We'll be moving on soon anyway. We're not getting a single trade offer for any of our dudes. Which is really unfortunate. It's amazing, too, how many extra draft picks we had. Honestly, Eddie Pisani or Jim Gill. Let's look at Jim Gill. And then we'll take Eddie Pisani, too. We had a lot of luck kind of going with these risky picks last season, so... Dude, not a single trade offer. Oh, my God. Not a single one. Let's go for Rainier Ustorf out of Germany. I finally get 3 phones, and I'm not going to get a single trade offer. I hate it here. Let's take the tough guy out of Rimouski, Maurice Papineau. All of these damn phones. Hate it here. Another tough guy, Rory Nash. We'll go for Dmitry Kalinin. The forward version, not the defender. Number 6. The trade's on the 5th phone. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take a little bit. We'll go for Rory Nash. Why not? Hoping for the best with some of these guys. As bad as they look, you never know. We didn't get a single trade offer. We had 21 opportunities to get a trade offer, and it didn't happen. What a piss take. What a piss take. Let's go for Matt Jacobson, and we will close out the draft. The Mr. Irrelevant. God, no one's really looking all that promising. We'll take Taylor Bertuzzi for the hell of it. Why not? Sin made the call. I'm making him wait longer than I expected because I didn't think we were going to win the cup. I do want to see how good these guys are really quickly. Like I said, it might be worth another season, but we did accomplish our goal of winning a cup. So it's always good. It's always good. Oh, man. Bertuzzi's 5-star. They didn't even have the stars yet, Sid. That's the best part. So in goal, Bernier is up to a 90. Jesus. Not really at risk of declining anytime soon. We brought back Devin Dubnyk as the backup. Kevin Geisbuehler, still solid. I totally forgot to look at goalies in the last draft, by the way. Again, I completely forgot to look. I always do. And then Tyler Bunz is up to a 72. Nelson, is this your first introduction to Tyler Bunz? Defensively, Shea Weberboy at an 88. Gormley is up to an 85. Pretty much peaked athletically. He peaked in high school. Enstrom at an 83. Harris, still an 82. Harris didn't really get better, man. Like, this was a guy, it's just like, yep, I'm going to be good at 19 years old, now 20, but I'm never going to get better. Literally peaked in high school. Hedlund went from, what, a 75, 76 to an 80. Not going to get much better offensively, but as a stay-at-home defensive D-man, he'll keep getting better, which is great. Jonas Brodin didn't really get that much better. Papineau, who we just took in the draft, very mid. Very, very mid. For the other guys we just drafted, Bertuzzi, Actually, we got Jokinen, who we took. Yeah, see, I knew I shouldn't have taken this guy. 60 overall, 19 years old. Never going to get better defensively. His athleticism will get better. He is cheeks as an 8th overall pick. I should have just gone for someone else. And then Bertuzzi, 19 years old, a 55. Will get a bit better offensively. Everything else, he's already kind of peaked. So, not great. Toffoli up to a 75. Webb at a 74. Phillips at a 74. Stan Tanabe, 70 overall, 18 years old. Didn't look like we were going to get too much development from a lot of these guys, unfortunately. The whole trying to brute force player development works for some, doesn't work for others. Taylor Hall rocking a 93. Josh Rogers, 74 at 20 years old. B- is across the board. He'll get better. Starts off with a really good shot. Ustorf was a 70 overall at 19 years old.
Fanboy.
Yeah, we didn't have the same kind of, dynamite draft that we had previously. Shout out to that Canadian guy for the follow, by the way. We ended up with some decent prospects, but nobody insane. I don't know how well we'd be able to keep this team together. So I think we're cashing out at the right time with Sidney Crosby and the 2016 Edmonton Oilers, which means only one thing. That is that very, very soon, probably tomorrow, we move on to the next one. The next one. And we see all the differences and all the fun stuff in NHL 12, because NHL 24, from a franchise perspective, still sucks.